What's going on YouTube? So Acura surprised the world last year with the reintroduction of the legendary Integra nameplate.
And as fun as that model is to drive, this is what we've been waiting for. The all-new 2024 Acura Integra Type S.
So does this 320 horsepower manual transmission sports sedan check all the boxes? Let's go ahead and find out. Now this is a sports sedan after all, so the best place to start out with is under the hood. So what do we have? Well, we have a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine making 320 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. That's actually 120 more horsepower than the standard Integra and 5 horsepower more than the related Civic Type R.
It's going to be paired to a glorious 6-speed manual transmission only, as well as front-wheel drive only with a limited slip diff. As far as your fuel economy is concerned, we're sitting at 24 miles a gallon combined on premium fuel.
But this exterior is really quite enhanced. Can't wait to show you guys that, so let's shut up the hood and take a look. Now when you first walk up to this Integra Type S, you're gonna notice this is not your typical Integra. It has a much more aggressive look to it. As a matter of fact, actually all the body panels forward of the A-pillar are completely new for this Type S model. That's why you have things like a 2.8-inch wider front end here, as you can see, giving you that very, very aggressive stance. Let's look at some of the other features we have. So this is your open surface diamond pentagon grille. So just like with the other Type S products, this is gonna allow for more airflow to go in, actually 170% more airflow into the engine to cool things down. Plus you also have a special hood scoop, and this is going to help reduce drag going through the air flowing through there. Of course, you got your Type S branding as well. And then you've got a very aggressive lower fascia with, again, a lot of functional vents, including this large one over here on both your right and left side. Now, as far as some of the other elements, of course, you have your signature Acura headlights. These are your dual eye LED headlights with your chicane daytime running light and turn signal indicator, plus your signature Integra branding right there underneath of the headlight. Now as we move to the rear, this is kind of a double mullet because it's a party in the front and it's a party in the back. Very wide, aggressive look, just like with the front. I really dig it as well.
Yeah, this thing looks so good here in person. We have that signature Integra Sportback design that we've all grown to love over the last few years. And as we head into some of the other elements, we do have a real big spoiler up top. We have the special carbon fiber spoiler on this particular model. And Drew went ahead and hopped inside so we can check out if all of the elements of these taillights are LED. We do have an LED brake light portion. We have an LED reverse light as well as an LED turn signal indicator. This is a really premium taillight design. This is going to be unchanged from the regular Integra model, but I'm not sad about it because I do like the way these taillights look. Now, as far as other special elements, you're noticing that it looks a lot more sporty overall, and a lot of the elements that they've done to make the Type S more sporty are down here in the lower diffuser. This is all going to be a lot more aggressive than the standard Integra model. We have a big splitter area down here. We also have the wider rear haunches, and then you're going to notice that we have the big 3 triple exhaust outlets. These are also part of that party in the back. And Acura has done a lot with the exhaust system for this Integra Type S. It's an active exhaust system, so let's go ahead and take a listen to this. Very nice. Acura has really improved this exhaust, especially over the Civic Type R. I love the way this sounds.
Now as we move into the wheel area, take a look at just how wide this fender flare is. It really sticks out, and it has to because these are larger wheels, not just in diameter, but also in width. So these are 19 by 9.5 inch alloy wheels, of course exclusive to the Type S model. And we also have, as a dealer accessory, the special bronze finish on today's model. This is a really unique and cool look, and both Mason and I have to say, big thumbs up here. Now, as far as your tread, you do have the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tire, so a more aggressive summer tire, and you also have a much upgraded braking system, so it's a 13.8-inch Brembo brake system with the red brake calipers. Up above, Type S branding, of course. And then as far as your mirrors, those aren't really going to change much from the standard Integra, so you do have standard blind spot monitoring and standard heating. You can also get a special carbon fiber finish up here if you prefer that as well.
Now here at this side of the Integra Type S, it's going to look very aggressive as well. Now it's not going to be as aggressively different as the front and rear design for Type S Duty, but you will also notice wider rear wheel wells as well as this lower body kit going through here that really spices up the overall design of this vehicle. Now as far as the length is concerned, it's coming in at 186 inches, which is the same as the regular Integra model as you would expect, and we are going to have blacked out window surrounds for every Type S model. And as far as your safety systems are concerned, Acura is going to be including all of them as standard equipment, so you won't have to pay extra for them like you would on a lot of the German competition. But guys, that's going to wrap up the exterior, and
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
Now let's go ahead and check out the interior, but first we'll take a look at our key fob. We do have a special Type S branded key fob, a nice compact Acura design with a little red accent on it. And of course you do have standard smart entry, although you don't have remote start considering this is a manual transmission sedan. Now of course, getting inside, just grab behind the handle and that will unlock the door. And go ahead and take a look inside at the cabin. You're going to notice there are some special touches for Type S Duty, and I want to start off by talking about our interior material and color options. Now when it comes to the Type S, it's mostly just what you see is what you get in terms of the equipment, but you do have some color choices. So with these seats, these are special sport seats with firmer bolsters versus the regular Integra. As you can see though, this is your signature Acura design, so it's going to have the suede that runs through the middle in a black color contrast. And then we have the orchid interior option, which is basically a white, but you can also get red, or you can go for a full black option if you prefer that. Plus Type S branding is up there in the headrest. Now as far as the seats themselves, they're going to be 12-way power adjusting with 4-way lumbar support. You also have special Type S branding there, Type S branding on the floor mat with a special red design, and of course your aluminum pedals. But let's go ahead and climb inside, take a look at the details. As you can see, when you hop inside, you get that Acura noise and some special animations up there on your gauge cluster. But let's go ahead and talk about the other cabin materials. So we'll start out with our door trim over here. We have a leather trim across the armrest as well as the center. You have a soft touch material along the top, and your front two windows are going to be one touch auto up and down. You don't have memory seats on this model. As we go to the upper dash, this is going to be finished in a soft touch plastic. We do have a kind of faux carbon fiber trim through the center section. This here is something that's different for the Type S specifically. On this model, it's going to be color matched to the interior. So since we have the orchid leather seats, we're going to have an orchid piece here. This obviously would be red if you have the red interior. So that gives it a little bit more class to the cabin. And then you got some piano black trim running along the bottom here. But we'll go ahead and fire it up by putting our foot on the brake, pressing in on the clutch, and pushing the standard push button start. Now that we've started it up, let's move into some of the details of the cabin. We'll start out with our gauge cluster. So just like with the Civic, which of course is kind of the foundation of this model, you do have a 10.2-inch digital gauge cluster. It is going to be reconfigurable, so when we do things like change our drive modes, you will see a different design up here. Now in addition to that though, we also have a head-up display, which looks quite crisp. Pulling back to the steering wheel, Type S does have a unique steering wheel, as you can probably tell. Nice perforated leather that's going to go all through here. We do have Type S branding as well. And as far as the wheel itself, it is going to be manual tilt and telescoping. Now you've got a couple additional options you can get as well. You can choose to have a dealer accessory heated steering wheel, and you can also have a dealer accessory full Alcantara steering wheel if you prefer. Now turning over here to our storage, this is going to be the same as the regular Integra. So you've got a decently sized center console. It is quite deep though. So even though the opening's not too big, it is going to fit the coupons that we brought with us here to California just fine. We've got two really large and deep cup holders right there, and you also have a standard wireless phone charger up in the front with some USB connections and a 12-volt outlet. Now as we fall back here to the center console, of course, you heard us say at the beginning, this have a manual transmission, a 6-speed manual transmission, a really nicely finished aluminum shift knob. And when we go into reverse, you will see a standard backup camera, of course. It does have your 3 different angles you can choose from. No 360-degree camera option. Next to that, you've got your electronic parking brake with your brake hold function. And then, of course, you have your drive mode controls for your 4 different drive modes, including your special individual mode. As far as our climate controls, dual zone automatic setup here. Nice, easy to use knobs and buttons with a good tactile feel to them. Next to that, though, you have this feature, 3-stage heated seats, something that you cannot get on the Type R. Now, as we move above to our display area, let's first start with our volume knob, because that's going to be paired with a very nice feature. This is your ELS Studio 3D sound system with 16 speakers. So let's go ahead and give it a sample. Giving you guys a nice long sample there because this is an excellent sounding sound system. Again, if you're thinking about like a Civic Type R, for example, that's going to come with a Bose sound system. This is going to be a big step up from that because the ELS 3D Studio is one of our favorite sound systems. Really fills up this cabin nicely. All right, so let's take a look at our display. This is something you're probably used to seeing. This is your 9-inch display. Pretty much your standard affair on a lot of Honda and Acura products. What we have up here right now is our wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So you do have the ability to navigate with that stuff. You're not going to have built-in navigation though into the main display itself. Now, rising above, we have a auto-dimming mirror, no HomeLink remotes built into it. You have some LED lighting. And you will notice that we don't have a sunroof. So of course you can get that on the standard version of the Integra, but I imagine that's because of, wanting to save weight because this is a pretty hardcore performance vehicle.
Now, if you're a keen viewer of the channel, you probably remember what I said about the regular Integra's rear seat. It's a mix of good and bad. It's kind of like a kale leaf. It's good because it's healthy, but it's bad because it tastes like crap. Now, as far as this rear area, there is a lot of good going on, so I'll go ahead and knock that out first. 37.4 inches of legroom, 36.4 inches of headroom. That does mean that this is a very spacious offering. It actually has more space than the Acura TLX, which is a little bit of an odd fact, and it is going to be larger than most of its rivals. The only thing I'd say that you might want to watch out for is if you're really tall, you might have a little bit of a headroom issue if you push your head all the way back due to that sloping roof design. But overall, the space is really good. Now, on to the bad. Now, some of the features back here are very lacking. So, as you can see right here in the middle, we have no vents, we have no USB ports, so that's a little bit disappointing. We're also going to be missing out on a center armrest, so no center armrest on any Integra Type S model. One of the big things I do want to point out, though, is that the Type S adds these 2 cup holders here in the middle, so you do have nice cup holders. That does mean that this is only a 4-seater, though, so you're losing out on that 5th person capacity for the Type S model. Now, turning to the door trim, we do have a hard touch door trim, which I'm also a little bit disappointed by. Fully hard touch on the top part, no trim actually here in the middle, even though it does have faux carbon fiber in the front. It's just going to be solid black plastic through here. We do have a nice leatherette on the armrest portion though. We have some bottle storage down in the very bottom, and I want to point out there is no option for heated rear seats. Now back to the really good news, and that's going to be here in the cargo area. Even though this is a performance vehicle through and through, we have a lot of practicality. So when we open up this cargo area, you will notice that we have 24.3 cubic feet of cargo capacity in this area. That's with the seats in place, actually. And if you're curious as to what most of the rivals come in at, it's about 10 cubic feet. So you're looking at over double the cargo capacity of most of the rivals. So certainly the wife is going to be happy with the added practicality. You can really sell her on the practicality of this Integra because it is a lot more practical. Now, as far as other features, no spare tire on any Integra model, so you do have a fix-a-flat kit in there. We have some storage here on the side. We have LED lighting. And then in order to fold the seats, they do fold a 60-40 split. We can just reach up there and kind of fold them down. This is your maximum cargo capacity. We actually don't have a specific figure for this because this is technically still a sedan, so they don't really measure that. But I will get out my measuring tape here and see how much space there is from the front seat all the way to the back of the cargo area. We're looking at about, say, 6 foot of cargo space. So that's really good to fit pretty much any object. I think you might even be able to fit something like a bicycle in this Integra Type S. Well, now it's time to talk about that moolah. How much is this all-new Acura Integra Type S going to cost? Well, you've seen all the wonderful elements about it, and we know that the Acura Integra, just the regular version, does bring a lot of value to the table. Does the Type S? Well, we're starting at $50,800 for the Type S model. Now, as far as what price premium that is, that's about $8,000 more than a Civic Type R, and it's going to be a little over $14,000 more than a manual fully loaded Integra A-Spec model. So you are going to be paying quite a bit of a price premium for the Type S, but this is a very special product. And you're probably like, well, when are we going to drive it? Unfortunately, that can't happen in this video, but we do have our own dedicated part 2 of this review coming June 19th when the embargo lifts for this all-new Integra Type S, where we're going to take this out on the road, see what it's like just on the highway as well as on some really awesome twisty roads, so we can really test out the capabilities of this Integra Type S. You won't want to miss out, so go ahead and put it in your calendar, June 19th. That will be happening. But guys, that's where we're going to leave off on this in-depth review of the all-new 2024 Acura Integra Type S. This, of course, is a very special product, and we're very thankful for Acura inviting us out here to beautiful California, where we can sample out such an incredible new product. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button down below. It really helps us out. It helps us get invited to events like this. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support because you make this all possible. Anyway, we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.